Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you all are having a great day. Today's video is going to be a video about GRE where I tell you what GRE is and how you can start preparing for the GRE exam. I'm doing this video because a lot of you guys commented on my last video, which was about how I started preparing and how I applied for abroad for masters and PhD. And in case you haven't checked that video out, I will link it somewhere on the screen on this side, so make sure you check that out. And so let's just start with this video. So starting off, the first thing that you need to know about GRE is the exam, what the exam is and how much is the time limit, what are the different sections. So GRE is actually graduate record examination, and it is an exam that primarily is for students, those who want to apply for master's program or PhD program in America and in Canada. Everyone who wants to do higher graduate studies have to give this exam. It does not matter if you are an international student or a domestic student, you have to appear and give GRE. I think if you want to know about the GRE exam, it's the best to go to the ETS website and just read about it, because that is the organization that actually makes the exam. And also you need to know that GRE is a computer adaptive test. The better you perform on your first set of 20 questions in verbal and quantitative section, the harder will be your second set. So if you have done well, the next set would be very difficult and hard. And also there are 3 sections in GRE. The first section is the analytical writing section, and the second one is a verbal section, and the third one is a quantitative section. For analytical skills, you have to write 2 different types of essays, and you get almost 30 minutes to write one essay. So you get 1 hour to attempt the analytical skills, and you are scored on a scale of 0 to 6. And then for verbal and quantitative, you get 2 sets of verbal and 2 sets of quantitative, and 1 set is actually a set that is an experimental set, so you don't know which you would get. You can either get quantitative or you can get verbal, and also you don't know which set it is. It could be the first set, it could be the last set, somewhere in between. So you have to make sure you're doing your best for all the 5 sets. Now let's talk about the verbal section. So for verbal set, you have 30 minutes to answer 20 questions. For quantitative section, it's generally maths based questions, and those are like your higher level school maths, and you have to answer 30 questions in 35 minutes. But for me, doing maths was not difficult. Like, I liked maths and I was good in maths in my high school, and it's just the basic algebra and all those sorts of maths that we do in India. So it's not that difficult. But if you're someone who is scared of maths and you do not like studying maths, then you might need a little bit more extra effort and extra practice. But for most of the students who are good in maths and those who have done their engineering entrance exams and other things, it's pretty easy for you to study for the quantitative part. But for the English part, which is the verbal part, you really need to put in some extra efforts, because that English is not high school English, it's more like English honors university level English. So you need to know a few words, and you should know how to use them, what their meaning is, and some other words that go well with these words. So yeah, you really need to have a good hold on English, I would say, because for me, maths was not a difficult part. I could easily do maths. It's just time management. And for English, I really had to put in a lot of effort. So I'm going to talk more about English this time, because maths is pretty easy. Okay, so once you know what the exam is all about, you have read the ETS website, you know what GRE actually is and what it scores you on. Next is that you need to know how much time you have before starting. So I would say that you prepare for almost 2 months before giving the actual exam without any gaps. So it's not like that you start studying for like today and you study for 3 days and then you're like, oh, I've got my exam, so I won't be studying the next month, and then I'll start studying again. It does not gonna happen like this, and I would highly suggest that you find a particular time zone where you want to study. So I would say that you should have at least 2 months to study without any gaps or breaks. So make sure you're finished with your exams, or you have your holidays in between or something of that sort, so that you can actually focus on the preparation part. Once you know how like this is the time frame that I'm gonna study in, I would suggest that you take a demo test. Our Manhattan test series are also very close to the original ETS test that you give. I would link all of the things that I'm saying in the description box, so make sure you check that out. So Manhattan series are very close to the ETS exam, so you can just go ahead and do that test before starting so that you know where you actually stand and how much you want to work on yourself and which section you want to work, and also it would help you to set a target score for you. So it's better to give a test. Don't be scared like what I'm gonna do, I don't even know one or the other thing. Just know that you're gonna give this test so that you have a baseline set for you, and you know that you're gonna work on your verbal part or you're gonna work on your quantitative part, and these are the things that you really need to focus on, so that once you start making your schedule, so you know how much time you want to give to a particular subject. And if you have a target score, it would really help you to reach that score, and you can actually work and strategize accordingly. Now, having said, the third thing to do is to have a plan. So you should have a 6-week or a 8-week plan, like how you want to study based on your demo score. Like if you are weak in verbal part, you should devote more time on practicing verbal questions, and if you are weak in quantitative part, you should devote more time practicing quantitative questions. I use the Magoo's GRE prep planner. It was like a schedule that you can use, but I did improvise some of the things for my own benefit, because there were a few things that I thought that if I do in a different way would be much better and beneficial for me. So you can always improvise such schedules. You would get a lot of schedules on GRE preparation for 8 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 1 day. I don't know what all they have. I would link the 6-week and the 8-week plan in the description box, because I think that was the best for me, and it really helped me in dividing my time and utilizing my time in a smarter way. Now for GRE, so I would say that for success mantra would be having good time management and also practicing your questions very well along with some techniques. Now I won't suggest that you go ahead and do everything the way you used to do it in your high school, because it's not a descriptive exam, it's just MCQs. You just have to mark questions on your computer. So I would definitely suggest that time management and having some smart skills would really help you have a upper hand on scoring well in your GRE. I would highly suggest that you buy the official guide to GRE by the ETS itself. It's the best book to refer because it has got everything that you need to know about the exam, the sections, what kind of questions you would get, how you would be scored on them, and all the other things that you need to know. So I would highly suggest that if you want to buy one book for GRE, just go for the official guide. I would link the book and the ETS website in the description bar. So now let's talk about the verbal part, because I think the quantitative part is easy and you just need to practice and develop some smart skills to crack questions at a much faster rate and correctly. So let's talk about verbal section now. I would be talking very briefly on verbal section, but it definitely needs a lot of focus and practice and a lot of other things, because verbal is something that is really tricky. It was tricky for me at least. So now the first tip that I have is you should sleep with your flashcards. Now I know it sounds weird, but I really mean it. Now for the flashcards, what I did was I made the flashcards and it had the word written on it, and at the back of it had its meaning. Every day I would read like 5 words and then memorize their meaning, and the next day I would read the previous 5 words and then next 5 words and read them together and try to memorize them. And for the third day I would do the same thing, but I would revise the previous 10 words first and then learn 5 new words every day, because it's a process. You cannot learn like 800, 1000, 1500 words in say 1 week. It's a process and it takes time. So I would highly suggest, now don't go ahead and start reading and mugging up the dictionary. That won't really help. As I said before, you really need to be smart and have some techniques. So what you can do is, I googled most frequent asked words in GRE, and there was a huge list of words that I got. They were like 1000 to 1500 words. So I just started learning those words randomly so that I would know what it means. And I would also ask my friends to ask me the questions, like whenever we were sitting or we were waiting for lunch, I would just ask them that can you please just ask me questions. And once you start using those words in your daily life, it really helps you in memorizing them. It really helps you to use those words in a particular way. So I would highly suggest that you start sleeping with your flashcards. And I also made notes for my vocab. I had I wrote all the words and their meanings in front of it, but what I used differently was that I used different kinds of pens. So if the word is a positive word, I would use a blue pen. If the word is a negative word, I would use a red pen. And if the word is it's a neutral word or it's an abstract word, I would use a black pen. So that's what I did, and it really helped me because oftentimes you don't remember the meaning, and you don't need to know the meaning, but you still know like what shade the word is. Is it a dark word, or is it like a bright happy word, or is it like a positive word or a negative word? So that helps a lot of times. Like it happened with me even during the exam. I did not know the meaning of the word, but I could still remember from the ink, like from the pen, that it's definitely a green word. It's definitely like I could remember the writing I wrote, and I could just remember that it's a red color word, so, which means it's a negative word. It really helps sometimes. So this is what I did. And I also asked my friend to, we just used to go on walks, and he would just ask me questions and just word and their meaning, and would ask me to use them in sentences. It's a really nice thing. It really helps you to de-stress when you go out on walks, and it really helps you to prepare for it. So he did that, and it really helped me a lot. So you can definitely ask your friends, or if you're studying together, then you can just use those words in your daily life while interacting with each other, so that you start learning them and it just comes to you after a while. And also, the worst thing is you just don't have to memorize the word, you need to use it in your sentences, or you should know how the word is used. That just makes it more difficult to work with. So just spend like 1.5 months on learning words and then start using it, because it's not like day before the GRE exam you're still learning words, and on the day of exam you don't know how to use those words in your sentences or in the filling blanks and all of those sorts. So I would highly suggest that you do that. And the last tip that I have for verbal vocabulary is that you should download apps. There are a lot of apps for GRE, and I used to have like 2 or 3 apps on my phone, and I used to browse through them every now and then once I started preparing, even before I started preparing. So it's very helpful. You can use those apps while you're traveling, even if you're in metro, or even if you're in a boring lecture, you can just take out your phone and just do your vocabulary words. I would not suggest you do that, but in case, I used to do that all the time in boring lectures, or if I am traveling, or even if I'm waiting for my coffee to come and I'm just sitting, I would just go ahead and start learning those words from my apps. So I had the Magoosh app and the GRE word prep app, and I think there was one more. I can't remember. I'll try to find it and name it somewhere in the description box, but I'm sure you can find a lot of different kinds of vocab apps. And also about the study material, as I said earlier, the ETS website and the ETS official guide is definitely the best book to refer. But if you want to refer some other texts, you can go for magoosh.com. They have a lot of blog posts on their GRE and a lot of other text, and you can even pay and get other texts if you like. I didn't go for any of those things, but I would link it in the description box. Magoosh.com, and Manhattan has some amazing content, and they also have a practice test which is very good. And also, once you're done with all the preparation and you think that you've started to gain some confidence, I would suggest that you should give the ETS official test for GRE. It's a practice test. It really helps you to get a hold what the exact exam would be, and it just helps you to gain more confidence. And I think giving the practice test is amazing for GRE, because it really helps you in developing that attitude for the exam. And talking about attitude, I would highly suggest that while giving the exam, mimic the GRE conditions. Like what I used to do, I had my exam in the morning, so I would give the practice test. I give like 2 or 3 of the practice tests, 2 from ETS website and 1 from Manhattan, and there are a lot of other websites that you can refer. So I used to give my exam early in the morning so that my body knows that I'm giving my exam right now. And also it helps you to build stamina, because GRE is no joke. The exam itself is so exhausting. It is for 4 hours, at least 3.5 hours, so it takes a lot of time. So your body really needs to have that stamina to sit for 3.5 to 4 hours. So I would highly suggest that you mimic the GRE conditions. Just go to some computer lab or some digital library nearby to you and just go there, sit for 3.5 to 4 hours, and just give the practice test in a way that you would give your actual GRE exam. So yeah guys, these were some of the things that I could come up with for this. I would definitely do more videos on GRE preparation, and I really wanted to do a video on what you should do a day before GRE, because the day of exam is as important as the day before it. So I would definitely do that video really soon, maybe next month, because I'm kind of busy with stuff going on here. So I would do that video because I'm sure this would help a lot of people. And let me know in the comment section if you want me to do more videos, if there's a particular thing you want me to talk about in the verbal section or in the analytical part or in the quantitative part. I would love to do those videos. And yeah, I think this was it. I'm just gonna wind up now. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to my channel because there is more content coming up really soon. I'm not keeping up well, that's why I just could not film more videos regularly, but I'm definitely gonna come up with more content next month. And thank you so much for watching guys. I wish you all the best, and just make sure to comment if you have any doubts. I would love to help you all. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.